welcome. Welcome to episode 215 of Genius Take the Wheel. Oh, yes, it's another leg day. Another leg day, pain day, Sunday. And I don't know. Is it worth spending the extra money? Because I definitely do need to. I need to put gas in this car, and I don't really want to spend the extra $9 to exit the congestion zone, to be charged $9 to come back to the congestion zone. So not really looking forward to paying that. But I don't know. It depends on how this stream goes, maybe. Okay. So today, my car is nagging me to put gas in it. I'm already in the car. Oh, let me add this person here. I'm going to add a person to my live stream. Who is this? With the black screen. Okay, so first, an autopsy on today's training. While we get a reveal of who is going to join up in the stream. All right, let me first back out of this parking space here. I'm scared to death driving this car like this with all of this snow. I don't know. I think I might just bite the bullet.
Hello?
Oh, who is that? Yep, you already know. I use a turn signal every single time I choose to do something other than drive straight. Okay, so, and I also need to get all of the salt cleared off the car. All right, so, who is this that I'm streaming with today?
Mr. Clinton.
Let's get it. Okay, so.
Hi.
Yeah, let's go. Special guest, Mr. Clinton. And Louis Rossman. All right, so quick autopsy on today's training. Today is my last heavy leg day before deload. And that means I had to put a lot of effort into, again, going headlong into the pain and the discomfort and the exhaustion instead of trying to go away from it. So my assignment was to add one more rep per set on the barbell back squat from last Sunday and add one more rep per set on the deadlift and go up in weight on the leg extension and the leg curl. So today's assignment was to get to a working weight of 225 on the squat, 4 sets of 8. And I got through it. The quality of the last reps were more of the, how do I say this? The survival. It was more about survival in that last set. But I got it done. And then I did 2 sets of 10 on the leg press at 315 to further stretch out the torture on the quads, to add a little bit extra volume on the quads. Then I switched over to the barbell rack pull RDL, just the bar to warm up for 10 reps, then 10 reps at 135, 10 reps at 225. And then I sat the bar on the ground and did 4 sets of 7 on the conventional deadlift for 315. That was really tiring. And then I went to the leg extension after that. Um, went to the leg extension after that and I went up in weight there, so I dropped the number of reps. So 3 sets of 8 at 175 pounds, and then 3 sets of 8 at 170 pounds on the prone leg curl. And it was just really effing tiring. But I had the help of pre-workout and also the thought that I wouldn't have to I really wouldn't have to do this too much more for the next week. So that was like my little reward, is if I can get through today, then I don't have to do a whole lot of crazy stuff for a whole week to let my legs recover for a bit, before I go into deep tear it down mode. Hope that guy doesn't fall. Yeah. So Lewis, how you doing, buddy? How you feeling? Even though we can't see you.
Changes. I realized that there's this one saying. I forget where it came from. I know I'm plagiarizing. I just don't know from who. It's if you believe, if you tell the truth, whatever happens is the best possible thing. So even if what happens is absolutely horrible, you have to believe that it happened.
Right.
There's a lot of person yesterday I was talking to. If he's watching, by the way, you know you have to quit your job. And he was, I actually was going through a lot of the advice that you give me about processing bullshit. And he's talking about his company and, well, what if his boss is sometimes is a dickhead to him, so his boss will know where to find able to find it. And like there's motherboard stuff where, okay, I want to teach you a methodology to something. I need you to be able to yourself. And then there's like where you find a part, which is you have a list of vendors. There's like a calculus problem or a border pair problem. It's it's kind of like, where is the gas station problem? You know it or you don't. It's not your idea. I want you to, and he would kind of like, he would tell him, you need to know how to do this, but he would never train him on anything. And it's a store that gets about 1 or 3 customers going anywhere. He wanted him to, he gets paid garbage for what we do in our industry. It's I think like $17 an hour, but to be a board repair person.
Yeah, that's very close to minimum wage.
Yeah, so for context, in expensive part of the Northeast, I'm not going to say where to dox him, but like here, I mean, the lowest level, entry level board tech, like complete entry level, is 30 an hour. His boss wanted class, but he all this if he goes to class.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've invested over $50,000 in one employee's education over the past 9 months, and do you know how much? It's where he decides I have all this knowledge now, but I'm because I don't get treated like shit.
Exactly.
And like, yeah, so. Well, you maybe didn't give Lewis the whole context, and that's that Linus bullshit. I hate this stuff where it's like,
Yeah.
there's a distinction without a difference kind of shit. It's like, well, we didn't give him the whole context, which is there's this one time where we were doing a repair for a customer, and I said that would be $50 if you need to replace this. The guy didn't actually need to replace the part. All he needed to do was he just popped it out and put the original back. Outrank me. Why would you try to change the price on it? If I told you this, that's what it is. Now, my business, what I would say is I would take the guy aside and say, okay, I see you thought that was different, but we have a flat rate pricing model. So even if all you did is pop the part in and out again, that's still $50 because the times we spend time on repairs that we don't charge any money for, and that's made up for by the ones that do well. So even though we didn't would have preferred that's $50, and here's how it works. No, he had to talk down to him. And then he had to try to convince him that what he's doing is normal. So he keeps giving me context, and every time he gives me context, I was saying what you moving. I am a writer, and I am advocating for you and telling you that that you are being treated like shit. Like, what else do you need?
Hmm.
So this man is like he's talking down to you. He doesn't take accountability for anything that he does. He doesn't take accountability and responsibility for anything that goes wrong. He doesn't provide you with training. He insults you. He tells you to do work and then does not. I know what you figure it out. And it's like, oh, the way I said it, are we on the same team here? Because if we're on the same team, I will help fix this item because we're both getting paid for it. But you're
Right.
acting like I'm an adversary. You're just doing this. You're doing this testing bullshit where you're going to try and test me and see if I like the right answer without.
Hmm.
And you would hold it against him and
This woman just
say,
dropped
see, this is
something.
why I.
Yo, Lewis, this woman just dropped something on the street in front of my car. Just scared the shit out of me, man. One of those playbill books. The ladies like to go to like Broadway shows and stuff. Oh man, because I was about to hit the gas, and she just bent over in front of the car. I was like, no.
Did she pick it
Yeah,
up
she
or did
picked
she?
it up.
Okay, I'm
Oh
okay with that. I thought that she was littering. If she was littering and you ran
no,
her
but
over, that's okay. But
oh god. One second before you continue. Vasa
that's a
Piano
joke.
Cover says, "Hey, Genius and Lewis, nice to see you both. Is it possible to share a link here? I know that Lewis is a man of unique taste for music, but I think that you will also appreciate it for relaxing. Do you have a Discord, Lewis?
Yeah, but you could email it to me. Just you come, and I'll check it out, and I'll show.
Yeah, and then he'll share the link with me. That's reasonable.
As a Coheed fan, I know Doctor Evil to be a man of culture, so we'll see.
uh,
But
Midmo is here. What's up? And he says, "Oh, it's Lewis. Hey, bro." So yeah, Jeremy
yeah,
Lewis. Welcome to the stream. He's one of my venerated moderators
very
on the
cool. Good
channel.
to meet you. Good to meet you, sir. This guy kept giving me more context. He's like, his boss said, well, you probably didn't tell him the full.
Right. You forget you're talking to an adult.
Yeah. Oh well. Again, if I'm a business owner and I have not how my pricing system works and how we do things to you, you're supposed to read my mind, and then when you don't read my mind, I get to scream at you. Now, if that's the first time this happened, that's is like if you've ever had a dispute on this, I take you aside and say, here's what my pricing is. I personally don't agree with this pricing. I don't have that pricing policy. But whatever. The point of it is, if that's your pricing policy, then you're going to explain beginning. Like you don't have to the other. You could say, "Listen, I didn't explain this to you just so you understand. Here's how it works." No, he had to be, and he just keeps going down this rabbit hole of it. And I'm screaming into my phone, "Quit it too." This company's going nowhere. He gets 2 to 3 customers a day because this is a
Yep.
loser business because it has a
Yep.
loser mentality. As
Yep.
like a more, we've had a lot of arguments back and forth in the past, and you tend to be a little bit more on the like workers union side of it, and I tend to be a
Yeah.
little bit more on the libertarian side of it. But like, I don't. You can tell me if you think I'm right. I not go. I try to step outside myself say the exact same thing for every situation. And I'm looking
Right.
at the situation and I'm screaming through my phone, this is bullshit. That is
Yeah. Yeah.
importantly to believing the problem is them. And what I
Yeah.
told him is this is something Daniels used to say a lot too. So I don't know if I plagiarized him or if we both came to the same conclusion at the same time. It was something
Hmm.
along the lines of, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to say what I am and I'm not going to put up with. And with
Right.
him, it's like, you're not supposed to argue with your boss. You're not to have this argument with him where you say, oh, well, you told me this about the price. You didn't tell me this thing. Well, actually, you should have known that because of X, Y. No, no, no. Here's what I taught you. Here's how you're talking to me, I don't care. Or for instance, but as a standard, he wants me to sign this document can't do for a year. What I am not going to tolerate being stuck with you because you paid like $1,000 for my training. Or
Right.
one of the other ones that was really ridiculous is what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take $17 an hour. A cheap attorney in the Northeast is going to be like $400 an hour. So he's
Yep.
expecting that you go to your fucking attorney to negotiate a document that exists because he doesn't trust you. My
Or because
employees
he
have
thinks he
ever
has the leverage, or because he thinks he has the leverage to shit on you.
Yeah, like the only I do not have an employment contract with my employees. I have none. All I have is here is the salary. This is your salary, and then whatever the cop
And then there's the
and
job
everything else.
description. And
Yeah,
if you match the job description and you perform, you get paid. That's it.
yeah. It's you are board tech, you are shipping. It's like here's your hourly rate, here's your overtime rate. I don't have a non-disclosure. That I don't have a non-compete. That it's like that's a me.
Do you know what your Do you know what your non-compete is, Lewis? I'm
What?
going to pay you a fair wage and treat you with respect, and let you decide whether you want to continue to lease your labor to me or not.
Yeah, and the
That's
thing is,
really
like, if
what it
somebody's
is.
and a lot of people and go, oh, it's just this is the weird thing is there's simultaneously all these people that will say, how do I get like, oh, I love the way you did this, or wow, the thing I do, and then the moment that they ask me how I did it, it's well, it's not that easy, or well, it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not smart, I'm not a genius. It's just I think I care about the differently because I don't care about the outcome. I have a like what Jim
You
Camp
know
calls
what's
a blank
funny?
slate.
You know what's funny, Lewis? And
Well,
I'm not an "I told you so" guy. I'm just saying this because it fits the conversation. You're now having the conversations with other people that I used to have with you. Like, yo, like you don't need to shit on people in order to get ahead. It's not necessary. You can get ahead by while also being an ethical business owner.
I think that I was more. I thought I was more than I was because I was surrounded by people who self-identify as communists who would say things an employee that is by exploitation. So if I charge 75 for a service and who did that service gets 25 an hour, the 25, which is $50, is what I have exploited out of that person. I've heard that so many times.
Mhm.
This considerably more right wing. Realize, oh, I think maybe I was a little close, not maybe just a little closer to normal than I thought. I was just surrounded by this kind of stuff where it's like
Right.
the 4 to like the 4 to 6 4 a.m. to like do how to guides to promote my company so that people actually want to use it and all that. Like that is the value of the difference between the money what I pay the employee. It's like if you have a personal training business that took you 20
Oh yeah.
like it just like somebody who is
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
and having to do well who are about to injure themselves I've seen people do shit with dumbbells with people nearby them that just scares the fuck out of me. When
Oh
you're
yeah.
doing that, you're gonna get a really bad response a lot of the time. For the first time, when you walk a person at the gym for the first time, excuse me, sir, this is my name is X. Here's what you were doing incorrectly. Would you like to hear something different? That for a lot of people, that's 7 years to build up a client base. Different. That's what it is somebody would get if they decide to work for your company. It's like all into it. You're walking into something that already kind of exists, and you don't have to do all that bullshit work, and you
Right.
get paid for your time.
Right.
Bothered me about this is that he was like in these agreements. It was, well, if we make this as an employee, I want the business I work for to make money, because if the business I work for myself, and it's easier to not feel like a loser. But I can't make business decisions based on whether I like my employees can't make decisions based on that, because that's my business. It's literally not theirs. It doesn't
Right.
matter. So I think like yeah, I think I've always thought the things that I do, but I didn't have the opportunity to say them as much because I was in an area that was so far in the other direction. But when I'm listening for like it talk to my employees, I think a lot of the I definitely had conversations with my. I don't think that my employees like me, and I don't ever think any a business owner should assume they do. Especially, I
Right.
hate when people say that my business, like my employees, are like family. That's so disgusting to me, because
Yeah.
they don't have
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ability to. Excuse me, sir. I actually don't feel like a family. Ability to choose whether or not they get more vacation
And there's
days.
so many
You,
conditions. And there's so many
yeah.
conditions on your relationship.
Like if I've ever said that, and I'm sure maybe in the last 13 years I've slipped up. I'm sorry, but it's crazy basis the way some of these people employees, I would expect to either quit or punch me in the mouth or just start stealing. So it bothers me because I base a lot of how I do business explicitly based on is to treat me the way I would treat my these bosses talk to their employees.
Right.
And like that processing bullshit thing came into play many times, along with my not accepting the premise of assholes thing. And you've always just focusing
Right.
on things that are completely fucked, and it drives me.
Right. It's one of those. It's a smoke screens type of situation. It's a sleight of hand trick that people have so that they don't have to be held accountable for what they do.
Yeah, and look at this. He's embezzled from his nonprofits, and I'm like, I have bank statements that I publish and statements I have
Yeah,
to make to
but
the
but that
IRS
but that
legally
was
that are
never
not
the
even
point.
there.
But
Yeah,
Lewis,
it's
that was
not.
never the point of them ever saying that in the first place.
Because you don't like somebody, and rather than actually say, I don't like this person for this particular reason, I'm going to go out of my way to just make some shit up. It's never
Or
about that, because if
or or they don't like the fact that your exposés apply to them and they need to get the spotlight off of them.
perhaps, yeah, what was I gonna say? And the line of like, I'm not gonna argue. I'm gonna with if an
Hmm.
employer says, well, you should understand. Well, here's why you really should be a lawyer for this contract. You're gonna think. Let me intellectually process this, because I want to
Right.
start like going back, and those things are reasonable. Like, do employers want contracts? Sure. Is that reasonable? Yes. Should
Yeah,
I?
but that wasn't the point of the conversation or the attempt to deflect either. It was a
Yeah.
deflection attempt.
Yeah, and even with that, the employee should think it's not about that. It's what are you willing and not willing to put up with. I get paid $17 per hour. This is going to cost me legal time. Do I want to tolerate that? Do I want to
Right.
spend? Do I want to pay $400 an hour for an attorney to look over this ridiculous contract for the future of my job at a company that has no future? Because like, well, technically businesses should have contracts. It's not about that. You need to have a standard for yourself.
Right.
It's the same like certain relationships. If you should not You shouldn't have to argue with somebody over whether something that you would want to get married within 1 year or 2, you would not want to get married after 5 or 7 years. They could give every reason until they're blue in the. Then the right thing to do is say, okay, listen, like it's been great. You give him a wrapper. You put your arm around on time. It's been great. Wish you the best, and you move on. Like you don't argue to like be together for 3 or 5 years before marriage. And well, here's why it makes sense. What's the point of arguing? You're not going to make your
Right.
not going that this guy is not going to find the job that he needs to have. There's another
Right.
job out there. There's another opportunity. I don't know what it is, but as long as he spends time doing what you say, which is processing bullshit or arguing over these things, the less time he's
Yep.
going to spend to actually finding the shit that he should be doing with his life.
Exactly. Yep.
And
That's
I
the
I
principle right there.
yeah, I stopped doing this recently because there's people where I would certain person like where I would argue and argue and I would think, well, here's why this makes sense. Maybe I'll get my point across. And like there's stuff I publicly on it, but
Right.
I'm sure you know some of it. But like I'm
Right.
not going to get my point across. And if I to a there may be something bad. If I don't do that, if I keep that inside, it's like with my time or
Exactly.
potentially based on the somebody else working for sales doing something else, and you wind up having this thing in your head, and you can't process bullshit part-time. It's not like I can process bullshit in my relationship when I go to work, be very predictable. I can process bullshit at work, but then when I go home, I'm not gonna have a great relationship with my wife. You can't process bullshit at all, because if you try to process bullshit at all, it comes out in all these other areas of your life that
Yeah. Yeah. And
am I allowed to mention this is that you would like host something or no? Am I, like if when you with cinnamon toast, and I know that as a personal trainer, you don't want your clients to eat shit. When you're dealing with a place like Cinnamon Toast, and then you go home, and the people around you are telling you got to sell this garbage to people, and you are going to get paid based on selling garbage to people that you don't believe in, like that has to fuck. I don't know. I shouldn't be speaking for you, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that has to fuck with you just a little bit. Like you're sitting at home watching a wrestling match with your girl, or you're sitting home watching Black Mirror, but in the back of your head, it's like, it's very difficult to separate these things. Like there's no, I can't segment my brain into this. During these hours of the day, I'll process bullshit, and during these hours of the day, I'm off. It doesn't work. It
right.
destroys.
Right. Tea time. Tea time. Leave the stream and come back because I actually had that problem with YouTube not too long ago, and when I left the stream and came back, the audio was better. So
Yeah.
I think it's the bugginess of this of the YouTube live streaming service thing. So
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where not caring about the outcome wound up leading to a much better outcome for you?
I think that happens more times than not. I think that a lot of the times the things that we fear end up causing us to um, suffer through more stress because the actual reality of it is not nearly as bad as what we feared. I think that that's a very common thing.
Yeah, like I used to do this thing where let's say there's 5 different ways a situation can go. Of the 5 different ways it could go, if I take action X, I will always assume and think the worst possible one of those 5 is what will happen. And then after that, well, after that happens, what's the next of those 5 things in that chain reaction for the next reaction number 2 of those potential. And talked to me about this, and they said, okay, so if every single time you want something good to happen of those 5 things, how often does the best possible thing happen? It's like almost never. So why would you assume that the possible thing is also going to happen as well? And it was an interesting point, but like it's easy for me to say this now because I've had 2 million working out of a park anymore and living living in a place with termites, that not caring about the outcome has, it's not, I'm not smart. I'm not particularly I'm not a or business or anything. It's not caring about the outcome when something isn't working has always been something that has been a superpower of mine. And when I lived in a place filled with
Hey, Lewis,
termites and I made $400.
continue saying what you're saying. I'm gonna go pump this gas.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
What's the New York, by the way?
Right now, uh, the V Power Nitro 93 is 399 credit right now
Oh, yeah, it was the 7-Eleven by my house is 245 right now.
for a premium. Well, the cheap one here is 299 or 309 credits, but I have to put premium in mine.
Okay, yeah. So where was I staying with this? Oh, yeah.
Oh
The
yeah,
is
I'll
this
be back in like 3 minutes.
okay? Yes. So it is easy to say to not care about the outcome once you have some sort of success already, but I have come from a long time ago. It's not because I'm smart or good at what I do. I think it's just because I'm crazy, and it winds up one of those areas where being a little bit crazy is actually helps when you live in a crazy world. It's every like not caring about people assume that I have this amazing advice to give to them based on any sort of success that I've had or watching me liking my stuff, but I really don't. It's here's what I would do, and you trust that if that whatever happens, your life will be slightly less than it will if you don't. Whether it's telling the truth to your girlfriend, your boss, and most importantly yourself, because it's really easy to lie to yourself to stay in a shitty position, or not to lie to yourself, but to just repeat a piece of bullshit to yourself, so you keep tolerating bullshit that you shouldn't tolerate. And uh, Dr. Evil has always been very important to me, and making sure that I don't process bullshit because I have a very bad habit of doing that. And he reminds me of what I had to stop caring about the being obsessed about the outcome. So you're driving the BMW, right? Not the Mercedes. I guess he's still getting gas. You know, for all the shit people say about electric cars, I'll be honest with you. I I plug in. I don't have to stop someplace on a regular basis to fill up. Now, I take road trips on rare occasion, but even when I do, if I can get like, I mean, Tesla cars and all that crap, they're all lying about their range. I mean, this is, I believe, since the beginning of time, approximately. So you're not going to get the range that they say. On a road trip, where I'm going 70, and if I have to sit someplace and charge for still save a lot of time over if I think about all the times I would have went to a gas station to fill up. Like that 5 minutes or that two that I don't do. Go home, I just plug in and then I leave and I'm set. I think it's still in the saved way more time with electric than gas. Obviously, if you're a truck driver, then having an electric vehicle is a complete meme and a total waste. But for me, it's not as bad as I originally thought any of that would be. I would definitely not be a piece of shit meme. I would buy an electric car from somebody that's not a fucking jackass. That there was this one comment I saw on this thread on I mean this video of Elon Musk doing what people said was a Nazi salute recently, and I don't usually laugh at it was something along the lines of yeah, like after watching the salute and him saying, "Yeah, I did nothing wrong," was something like Tesla. Yeah, next car, Tesla Model SS with range from Poland to Germany or Germany to Poland, and it caught me off guard, and I almost spit out my water laughing. It's fucked up, but I think it's part of the fact that it's fucked up and there's no consequences for anybody involved in the fucked up thing is part of what makes it something that makes it laughable because it's like it's so prior. Yeah. My dad always used to say, if I can laugh, I cry. Yes, I was just commenting on the car thing, and so you're in the convertible right now, right? For
Yeah.
the gas you're getting. Yeah, I was
Yes.
saying I honestly expected the electric car thing to be worse than it was, and even some of the road trips I do, even if I'm going 220 miles, is I'm trying to do the math in my head. How many times that I stopped at a gas station and took 5 minutes to like 3 or 5 minutes to stop at it, versus the time that I spend charging when I do road trips? Because when I go home, I just like once I get inside, once I get to my driveway, I just plug the thing in, and the whole concept of having to stop to get gas is something that time I spent charging on 1,700-mile road trips is made up for by the amount of time I have not spent at a gas, like actually stopping to get gas. Because I think
Okay.
I've gotten spoiled. I had to rent a car once, and I really got spoiled to the idea that when I go home, I will like it's a zero. It takes me two
Yeah, it's like your cell phone.
seconds to
Yeah.
yeah.
So let me cover a couple of these questions. Tea Time says that there's still a problem with the cutting out. So yeah, I'll look to see what it is. But I've experienced this before, and it was actually somebody else's live stream that I was watching, and I was having that problem too. And leaving and coming back fixed it. But yeah, well, I'll take a look at it. He's actually not breaking up for me. Like I can hear him like no problem whatsoever.
YouTube is a
So I
really shitty platform.
apologize. Yeah, I apologize, but this whole like vertical streaming thing, there's still a lot of bugs with it. Vasa Piano Cover says, question for Lewis and Genius: how do you handle older colleagues that act like assholes without making a cluster coitus out of the working environment, assuming you've already tried a nice way? And group project is involved too. So if you go all in, chances are that being too honest can mess up the project and payment for other people involved too. So you want to take this first, Lewis?
Well, the types of old people that do this. There's old people that are at the same job for 30 years because they're afraid of doing something else that are not really that good at it. And then there's the people that are really, really effective and crazy at what they do and will tolerate them being dicks because they're 0.1%. So is this somebody who is like older and kind of annoying to deal with, but they're on their that they're like a mentor figure? Everybody goes to them to solve the problem. People that can solve the problem in the room, or is this just an older person who's just like on your level, below your level, but just crotchety and bitter because they haven't moved on with their life? Like
Mhm.
somebody older than me, maybe, because like they're coming up to me going, "I can't believe you. If you really knew what you were doing, you would do it." And I'm like, "Okay, tell me more." I just take 15 days to figure that in seconds. I don't see it as an insult when that happens. I kind of see it as a time as a result to me. And one person spot here, but he is he talks down to a lot of people, and he's a genius. I mean, he fixes airplanes, he fixes televisions from the 1940s with no schematics and parts. He fixes like
Can you hear me,
laptop
Lewis?
mother. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I just want to be sure because I think that your voice reverberating around my car might have been part of the problem. So I'm just trying to troubleshoot
Ah,
for everybody else. But
okay.
continue. Sorry.
Yeah, like this person, he's way smarter than me. I mean, he fixes airplanes, he fixes cars, he fixes televisions from the 40s, he fixes motherboards. He can program. He's a genius, and he's infinitely smarter than I am. Where he gets frustrated with normal people because we're not like him. I mean, he has a skill that nobody else has. And when they're getting pissed at me, and I try to make win-win situations out of everything. So I try to turn this into can't make you not be a dick, but if it would take me 15 days to figure this out, and all I have to do is say something in front of you that will cause you to insult me to get the answer, it's like, okay, cool. Let me write all this stuff down, and now I can.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
who's good at what they do, the personal trainer at the gym that's been doing this for 60 years, who knows all this shit, that's just is this just an old crusty asshole that really needs to retire and move on with their life?
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes some sense. I like the way you put that. But again, I've been in the personal training game for a while, and I've worked in offices for a long time. And you know, we have to recognize that the Lewis Rossmans of the world are the exception and not the rule. And for some people, they need applesauce with or like in the case of Mr. Clinton, um, you need a tree with your medicine. And some people are like that, and it's not a great situation if you're a person that's just trying to impart information, having to deal with people that you might believe to be overly um, uh, emotional. But we have to understand that there is a human element to uh, disseminating information. If we were all androids, then it would not matter how it was said as long as we got the answer. But the fact of the matter is, you are dealing with human beings. And one of the ways that the brain works is that you're going to process all information through the emotional center of your brain before the rational center of your brain. That is how we are designed. Now, there are some of us that understand that supposed weakness of human, you know, uh, of being a human being, and then we make sure that we try to process, that we try to slow down our irrational uh, reaction so that we can glean the information, which is what I'm assuming you're doing, Lewis. Because
I
if somebody says something really rude to you, you're not gonna like, your first inclination is, I don't like that this person is talking to me like this, but you're able to slow down your reaction long enough for you to say, you know what, fuck how they're talking to me. I need the information.
I see. I don't think I'm that rational. I think I just see it as getting back at you, which is it took you 6 months to learn, and your punishment for being a to me in 5 minutes. Because the thing is, they don't want to explain things easily. Like if you ask that person for instructions, they will yell at you, or they'll like say, "You're an idiot. Read this manual. You should learn." But if I say something that's mildly incorrect, and I am getting them to be mad at me, and but by making them mad at me for being mildly incorrect, now you're going to, in my opinion, punish yourself by telling me all this. But I really don't understand what that guy's initial.
Well, I mean, can you read the chat? You read the chat because I'm the one that's
Oh,
behind the
yeah.
wheel.
Whoops. Yeah. Point. Okay. I was doing chores and cleaning my house on Sunday. Let me see what we got here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So he
It's
says,
it's older
it
and
is
annoying. It's
older
a
and
music.
annoying. Oh yeah, go. You go ahead, Lewis. You go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. It is a music project. They're actually genius level, prestigious music conservatives involved in there. Some of the most patient people out there. The guy that's a jerk is pretty bad at his job. I work with people that are advanced to me on so many levels, and actually many of them were never frustrated with me being slow. The arrogant people. Okay,
How does he
this is
keep his
interesting.
job? Like, how do you keep your job if you're incompetent and you're surly?
Okay, if the
Unless he's the
person who's bad
boss.
at their job, who is bad at their job, is the one that's a jerk, then be as honest as possible about the entire situation to his. And like you should say, the thing is, if you this, I guarantee there's others
Other
haven't
people
said
are
it yet.
thinking it too.
So the thing,
Yeah.
so what you would say, instead of yelling about him, you should say something like, "Yeah, it's like I really enjoy." So every now and then, like, you have to say something that makes him look like the dick rather than you. That makes you look patient. So, for instance, if there's a person is insane, like very mean, but also sucks at part X of it, and you could say, instead of saying if you're making part Y, you could say I've considered removing any sort of hot. And what you're not, you're actually saying, well, I don't think he should be in hot water because I'm going to purposely remove this part from my project just so it doesn't make it difficult for him. And then somebody watches, they think, wait a second,
Right.
you're going to remove a really cool feature just because he's an idiot? So you're not calling him an idiot. You're not doing that. What you're doing is you're planting a seed that that person is impossible to work with. And after you've planted the seed, And that like that's the problem that I have with
That's
the
true.
Linus video. The
That's
biggest
true.
problem that I have with it
Yeah.
is I just like I mean I am so aggravated by people that are like that, and I've known that he's like that for so long, and it just I just didn't have it in me to do the right thing, which is you're supposed to plant a seed. You don't tell people what to think, and that was ultimately my biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
I said in that video, 100%. I stand behind all of it. Like, I wouldn't retract a
But you
single
thought
word.
that
But
you were
the
trying to
presentation.
do too much to sway. So, so you thought you were trying to do too much to sway people's opinions rather than just displaying all of the facts as you see it.
Yeah, and that's disrespectful to the audience. It's not even just a bad presentation. It's just so like in your case, what you should do is you should do something along the
Yeah.
lines of like
Right.
I would be doing. Just be honest with yourself. I would do this, but I don't want to do that because I feel like I'd be putting stress on this person. And what you do is because that's the truth. And then when you tell them, if you say that person sucks, I get defensive and go like,
Right.
as other people because you didn't tell think to them, you're they're and it'll plant a seed in a way that it wouldn't otherwise. But the thing is, you have to say something, no matter what it is. You can't say nothing. Somebody else is thinking it as well. And the longer you keep it silent, the more it's going to just sit around in your head and cause you to drive yourself crazy and things. So by saying quiet yourself, you're screwing all these other people around you that are wondering, am I crazy because nobody else is saying this or
Right.
speaking up about it? Let's see what we
Right.
got.
Yeah. And you know, for me, I think that it's you know, the thing is, I think that this dude is trying to straddle the line between not being disrespected, but also not want to be disrespectful to the elders. And the thing is, if somebody, and you also have to think about it like this too, if you're working with somebody that has been at a place for a long time and they're incompetent, then you have to think about all the reasons why they could still be on the payroll. And even if you are better at your job than they are at theirs, you can still find yourself without a job if you don't handle it with the proper diplomacy, because maybe he's an asshole to you guys, but he's not an asshole to the boss, or he's related to the boss in some way, or something like that. So you have to really plan out, you know, how you disseminate the information before you lose your shit. But you can't just stand there. You just can't stay there and take the disrespect, because eventually, when you go to release that valve, it may not come out the way that you might want it to, and you may say some things that you may not be able to take back. So you know, and I wanted to add something to what you said earlier too. Whether or not you're really good at your job, unless you are that guy that yells at people in the cooking show, him being an asshole to people is part of the show, and it's like he has, like, that's part of the gimmick, right? So him being an asshole is essential to the success of the show and the business, right?
Yeah,
But I don't think that there is any other situation in a professional setting where it is necessary to be an asshole to people to get the job done.
I agree 100%. And the other thing is, this guy is really old, and he's older than you. Then that he is causing all this tension among all of you because he's that much more experienced. If somebody's 30 years older than me, they know for a fact what they're doing to me by acting this way because they've been put in that same situation. They're old enough and they're mature to know that they're screwing with you. So it's like I would have less patience for somebody that's 60 or 70 or
Right,
80 that is making my life and the experience to understand exactly what it feels, exactly how not to do that.
right,
But the young person
right.
is the one
And,
that's
and and
in
the
that
thing is, I
situation
think
rather than the
that
other way around.
I think that one of the saddest parts about this is that you know um and they talk about this when police officers deal with civilians. um in fact, I saw something where a woman won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because the officer assumed that she was driving under the influence when she had pulled over on the side of the road and she was incoherent, did not look at the actual like situation in front of him or in front of her. I think it was a woman, and was just so like quick to be like, okay, I got this DWI and I'm going to process them, that they didn't even like look at the situation to see that the reason why the woman was pulled over to the side of the road and she was incoherent is because she was having a stroke. So the officer was so gung-ho about trying to get, an arrested and process them and arrest them, that the woman became permanently disabled because, there's a certain amount of time when you're having a stroke before you suffer brain damage. And, the woman was being processed and left in the jail for over 2 hours before somebody looked at them and said, hey, this person is not intoxicated. They had a stroke over 2 hours ago, and now they have permanent brain damage. And it's like when you go to work thinking that it's us versus them, like how awful is that for your own quality of life? And then all the people that have to deal with you. The guy in the scenario that Piano Covers is talking about, like, how do you go to work when you're supposed to all be working towards the same goal, and you approach your coworkers as if they're your enemy when they're your teammates? They're there to help you be better at what you do so that you guys can realize whatever the goal is. I think that for me is one of the more tragic issues that some people may not actively think about.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what I was talking about with that person that was
Please
asking
don't
me
go
for
in the street. Please don't go
job
in the street.
advice.
Thank you.
You can tell one of us is driving in. But yeah, let's see. I don't know if my Bluetooth range is going to go out.
Yeah, it was
because
about
I'm
to be
going
some
pick up my
Frogger
garbage.
shit.
Okay, let's see. One moment. I'm just going to pick up my garbage can.
Oh, so Tea Time says you're the one that's breaking up, but I'm crystal clear. That's interesting. And people driving like complete fucking assholes. Great. So you can get one car length. Great, guy. Great.
So long to walk to get my garbage.
He said, Genius nailed it. Tried not to be disrespectful, but also do not want to be disrespected. Yeah, it's not necessary to disrespect somebody to get the job done. Not necessary. Oh, wow. We've got some road rage now because of the asshole that was acting like a fool.
What happened?
Wow. You really want to act like an asshole with a guy in a MAGA truck?
Well, so who is versing? Who's winning?
What a piece of garbage. And it wasn't the guy in the MAGA truck. It wasn't like an asshole. They were responding to the guy acting like an asshole. Good God.
Like I get a little that I don't
Yeah,
drive.
dude.
Bike like every day was a. I honestly, because imagine having a 60-pound electric bike that I'm going 40 miles an hour on. I can finally say that without fear of getting arrested because I don't live there. I already have 2 or 3 warrants out on me from New York State.
No. 19.9.
40. I don't care.
Lewis.
Fuck you.
19.999999 miles per hour.
That thing could do 48 miles an hour. That thing did 48 miles an hour. And when I'm driving in a place with a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and every car is going 30.
Actually, I saw it go up to 51. No,
Me or
Lewis, I
people?
actually saw it go up to 51. Well,
You
one
said
of your
it.
bikes anyway.
Oh,
No, one of
yeah.
your bikes made it up to 51.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was a while ago. But also, I think okay, there was wind, so that I can't fully count that because that was like.
Was that the same? Was that the same bike? What was it? The same bike that you almost burned down your apartment building with?
No, that was version 2.
Okay.
Uh,
Yep.
that bike was the one with the unit pack power and shit that the asshole sent me. But the speed limit is 25. You have all these people going 35, and then if I want to not
Did
die,
that make your consumer website unit pack power? Did that make it,
not bad.
Lewis? Lewis,
Yes. Hello.
that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that unit pack power, but I wanted to know if it was the first company that made it onto your consumer protection website.
I'm debating whether or not they go there. The idea, all this, the companies that are like trying to take away your ability to say you own it, companies that are constantly spying on. That's like I think somewhat traditional consumer protection, which is we just made a shitty product that blows up and kills people. And it's weird saying that when I say
Right.
all. We used to think if we had considered you against shit that tries to kill you, we're done. But that was, before the modern world became what it is.
But what do you think about adding the factor of also tracking how these companies respond to the poor performance of their products when they harm others? Can you hear me?
But as you know, yeah, I hear you. Are you there? Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Fucking
Yes.
YouTube. I
Yes, I'm
haven't
here.
put that. I have more time to
I'm
put
here.
into this now. There's about a 10-second delay than on stream. Now I see. Yeah, this is definitely YouTube.
God damn it. Might be my fault since I'm on the Henry Hudson.
Clinty? Is there a delay? Is there a delay? I know. Shitty system. Hello, Blackberry. You're very cute. Cat really loves fucking up my mic stand while I'm using it. So never.
Yeah, I should be solving this YouTube problem in a second.
Mm, mm.
All right, can you hear me, Lewis?
I hear you.
Still a delay?
No delay.
God damn it. I think there's still a delay, buddy. Fuck.
Modern technology.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. I think it's because I was on the Henry Hudson.
I have an idea. I'm gonna say a number, and then the second you hear it, you repeat the number. So
Yeah, I think 4812.
okay, so 8 seconds of delay.
Yep, still a delay. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. What can I do?
Blackberry.
Oh. What I'll do is I'm gonna swipe that. I'm gonna swipe the app away. I'm gonna enter it. It's gonna ask me if I want to continue to stream, and then you can hit the link to come back to the stream so that we can sync it up again. I'll wait until you heard everything I just said.
I heard what you just said. Yeah, so let me find my phone because I forget. Here we go.
All right. Well, I'm about to reset everything now.
All right, go for it.
All right. Okay. So we're back. And I'm going to copy the link. And all right. All right. Yeah. So, just trying to fix this problem with the stream. Oh, man. So, yeah. What I know for the guys, for the people who are just kind of watching for the first time, I really wanted to just thank Lewis for, coming through here and, and really, I don't know, mentioning me in his community. You know, I was just really thankful that Lewis added me, or he atted me on his community thread, because I just, he knows how much I struggle here on YouTube. There's a lot of times where I find new ways to motivate people through these live streams when I do these Genius Take the Wheel live streams when I come home from the gym. And sometimes it is a little bit disheartening when I feel like I have information that people can be inspired by to take care of their bodies and to rationalize getting the work done instead of rationalizing reasons why they should not take care of their bodies. And so, when I talk to Lewis about, the type of things that I've learned in my time on this planet that has helped me to build a work ethic, because I don't have a good work ethic naturally. I kind of had to force it with psychology. When people ask me, different things about, you know, how I go about solving some of my problems, I try to talk to people about all the ways that I trick myself into finding reasons why I should do the work rather than why I should put it off. So, I have these conversations with Lewis, and Lewis, he um, he absorbs information in certain ways, and sometimes if you're a person that can be really analytical in the way that you disseminate information, if you're really good at um, manipulating people, you can manipulate Lewis by diverting his attention to other facts that are not pertinent to what you're talking about. So there are times where I kind of have to say, well, that person may be right or wrong in what they said, but what does that have to do with the price of breast milk in Cambodia? Like, like they're trying the smoke screen, they're trying the sleight of hand, the deflection tactic, and you have to make sure that you hold people accountable to staying on topic. People will try to use insults, and if that don't work, then they'll try to use facts not entered into evidence. And so, my dad, he always repeated this phrase to me over and over and over again. Don't see what people are trying to show you, see what's there. And anytime somebody tries to sell a narrative to me, I'm always asking the question, well, what are they trying to get out of it? What is their motivation for trying to sell me a narrative? What is it that they are looking to gain from this? And sometimes they want to gain some saving of face, where they don't have to own up to the, foul shit that they do to other people. And they have all of these types of ways and means of trying to evade responsibility when they could be using a lot of that brain power to just do the right thing and or take responsibility when they don't do the right thing. But they put all of their efforts into manipulating people. So for me, I think there was a video that Lewis made trying to apologize to somebody for some offhanded joke that was made, just trying to be funny on a whim, and then made this huge stink about it. Well, why would you make a stink about a joke like that, knowing that he doesn't know you personally? It's got to be a deflection attempt of some kind. So, there are times where, and Lewis and I, we talk about a whole bunch of different things from the professional to the personal. And I'm always analyzing every bit of information I can get to try to get as much perspective and context, because context is everything. Context is everything. Let's see if I can pull over a little bit more. Can you hear me, Lewis, on time? Good.
You wouldn't hear my washing machine.
Yeah, we don't care about that. We don't care about that at all. So, I try to do my very best to be there for my friends, because, I think about all the things that I survived, and I did not survive these things alone. I had friends. I had friends that looked out for me when things were going really badly, and a lot of them never asked for repayment. So I've been living my life trying to pay it forward. That's basically, what I've been trying to do, because I believe that if you try to pay it forward, it's in some way, it doesn't even have to be monetary. Sometimes just sharing the lessons that you've learned. I think that it encourages other people to pay it forward too. And you're not trying to do it so that somebody is going to pay you back, or hey, I did this nice thing for you, what are you going to do for me in return? I think it's really more of, I really want to make my corner of the world better, because I understand that if I don't do it, I can't rely on anybody else to do so. So will good things come to me in the end if I try to do right by other people? I would hope so. I would hope that's a world that we can live in, or a world that we could develop. But like it's like, again, like when I went to Germany and I put on my turn signal and to merge in traffic or to switch lanes, right? When I went to Germany, the people put on their brakes and allowed me to join in traffic. But when I come back to New York, if I put on my turn signal, people say, oh, he wants to switch into this lane safely. Let me speed up because I need to have this one little win, because I need to have my car one car length in front of this guy. Otherwise, my whole day is ruined. So let me speed up to possibly cause an automobile accident that is going to raise everybody's car insurance rates, because I need to have this one little win. I'm only thinking about myself. I can only see this little shrub when there's a whole fucking forest in the world. And I'm like, you know what? You live that way. You fucking live that way, because that's the only fucking win you get in life, because that's how you live your life. And I refuse to live my life that way. So when I see people put on their turn signal, I apply the motherfucking brake. then I don't care if people do the same for me. Because to me, the only thing that I care about is trying to make my one itty bitty little bit of the corner better and hope that people look at that and say, oh, somebody is sharing the road with me. Maybe I'll share the road with somebody the next time. And that is my approach to living life. I apply that principle across the board.
As a bike user who used it as a motorcycle, I understand how annoying it is
Right,
when people don't put on
what
turn
does it
signals. It's
cost
quite
you?
painful. That's the
Right,
conversation I was
Lewis, what
having about a certain woman that I was seeing a long time ago, which you were very smart in telling me to cut off much
do
earlier.
you remember how
And
angry
vice
I
versa.
got when you
If it
do you remember
costs you
how
nothing,
angry I got when you told me
yeah,
the story?
yeah, if it costs you nothing, and if you admit that it costs you nothing to do something that will make somebody else's life a little bit better, I need to know about you as a person.
Exactly.
To stay
1
with that
billion
person because they're
percent.
hot is just a condemnation of myself.
Well, I mean, she provided experiences that are atypical, so I got to give her that credit. But for me, I cannot stand to deal with somebody that needs to fight every little battle, and the battle that they're fighting doesn't even really benefit them. It just harms everyone around them in the environment. I can't be around people like that. I'm going to read some of
It's
these
one of the
comments, Lewis, to see if you want to respond to some of these
yeah, one of the things
comments.
that I learned is
Um,
if you claim important, but you are willing to fight to the death for the thing that is not important, you've
mhm.
miserable. I'm going to be dealing with you. If it's not important, but you
Oh
will
yeah,
like fight to the death over it, then there's something else going on into that thing. And what I used to think is that I need to figure out what it is. If I figure out what it is, then I'm good. But like the thing is I've learned going on is
right.
I don't have to figure out what it is. I am not a detective. You're not a motherboard. I don't need to figure out the puzzle whether or not this is something that I want to deal with. And if the answer is no, then I gotta go.
Exactly. Yeah, so I got to say this too, right? Like, the piano covers was saying that he's working with this guy who's an asshole to everybody. The way that I process that in my mind is you're dealing with somebody who is a legitimate miserable human being who is, whether he knows it or not, spreading that misery to other people. So when I see people are being assholes to other people, I immediately go, and the empath in me wonders what that person is dealing with off the clock, right? But again, like, it's really not my job to try to decipher why you're being an asshole to me. But what it does for me is it slows my anger so that I don't then become an asshole either to that person or paying that assholery forward to somebody else, because nobody deserves that. Piano covers says that the audio works better now. And he says, by the way, thank you both for having an insightful conversation. Feels like I am sitting with two wise uncles having a beer and listening to some good advice. And cool ones too. Original name, welcome to the stream, says real shit. He says, man, every time they speed up, you might be from New York. Uh, Tea Time says, thanks to Lewis for linking your channel. I see why he calls you his mentor. Probably won't be able to join live very often because of the opposite time zones, but I'll slowly work through recording. Yeah, so I do this in the early morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays, coming out of very painful early morning leg days before I go to my 9 a.m. client. He's 73 years old. I love his brand of humor. But I really try to, go through the psychological um, struggles that I have showing up to leg day 3 times a week. Um, Piano Cover says, by the way, what you liked in Germany more than the US and vice versa. I did a whole, myself and Mrs. Evil did a whole video on that on the Talking Shit podcast, which the link is in the description. If you want to go back through our catalog of uh, of recorded videos on TSP. I believe we recorded that video sometime in October or early November 2024. So it was the title of the video is something to the effect of, New York City could be what Berlin is if, or something like this, something like that. I don't remember the exact title that I come up with. I just come up with them on the fly. But yeah, we did a whole video on that. Original name says, I have no clue why people are willing to put their life on the line to get to a red light a second faster. I've been saying this for like 30 something years. It's so irritating. It is so
It's fun.
irritating. Like,
Driving is
dude,
boring,
your time is not worth more than everybody else's.
It's wise. I think that's why.
Good
It's the
God.
same thing. No, when people are screaming at each other in the car and you get road rage and you get like, you did that to me, I'm going to pass you, or now I'm going to try to cut you off and all that. It's the part of the brain from 2 million years. Boring to sit there doing nothing. And I think you're kind of treating the driving the same way that you're treating, we're both chasing the same lion to try to kill it so we can eat. That's like, it's not rational, but that part of your brain is definitely rational at some point in history. And because you don't exercise when they're driving, I'm not saying
It
it's right,
leaks
but
out in other ways.
yeah, I'm not saying it's right that anybody
Right.
did
I can
this.
see where that comes from.
There's a reason that the brain's doing
But they can still suck my dick, though.
and yeah,
But they can
I
still suck
agree
my
they should
fucking
suck
dick.
yours instead of mine. Well, because they're probably men.
Original name says, let everyone in every time. On God, man, you're the most humane person ever. I just like, what does it cost you to get home 0.14 seconds later? It doesn't cost you anything. But you know what it will cost you if you're always rushing? Very high insurance premiums.
Or your life.
Okay, yeah, I think I covered all the comments. Sorry guys for the flickering on and off. I'm sitting in a place where I gotta have the hazards on, so gotta do the right thing while I'm doing the wrong thing, because I'm sitting in a no standing anytime spot, but the cops never
Yeah,
really
people get
bother me here. So
I use hazards and I might put them on, and I have to explain to them hazards are the don't ticket me lights. That's what it actually means. It has nothing to do with hazard. It has to do with the hazard to my bank account if I get a ticket. What?
Oh man, I remember the first time you said that shit.
Yeah, it's
I was
like
so scared one time when I had my hazards on, and the license plate that I have on the SUV, right? And this cop popped up behind me, and I'm like, damn, I'm about to get this ticket. I'm sitting in the no standing zone, and the cop rolls up, and he was like, oh, I thought that you might be like a band member, a Coheed band member. And I'm like, no, I'm a mega fan. And he was talking to me about how much he loved the band when he was in college, and I didn't get a ticket. That was so funny.
My personal favorite is when I got pulled over
T
for
Time
doing
says Lewis is
redacted.
still breaking up.
I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, original name says I hit legs once a week, 4 sets of 20, increasing weight starting at 135 and finishing at 225. I'm 135 pounds, doing this mainly for strength training. Should I change anything up? Absolutely. But I am extremely impressed. Do you mind if I go Lewis Rosman's board repair on his program real quick, Lewis?
Go for it and inform him and make him better for it.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Okay, so original name. This is what we're gonna do. Number one, your quads should be like super fucking thick. Pause. Like you're warming up sets of 20 to get to a working weight of a set of 20 at 225. Your quad should be quadding. That's number one, right? Now, if you're not happy with your strength gains, that's because you are deep in the hypertrophy territory. A set of 20 at 225, you've already hit the strength ceiling that you're not even lifting for strength training. This is straight up fucking like muscle building. He said, oh, they huge. Yeah, you're doing sets of 20 at 225. Once you
squats or
go
deadlifts?
beyond what you can do for 5 repetitions, this is a squat.
Done 14
I think
squats
a
at
squat.
225 is, I think 14 was the max I've ever done in my life, and I still got to work back up to that. God damn.
I think he's talking squat. I could be wrong. Original name, but let's say it was the squat, right? Well, it doesn't matter if you're hitting the leg press, the hack squat, the free bar squat. The principle is still the same. You are deep into like high, dude. Yeah, he said his squats. I am ridiculously impressed. This dude is squatting almost twice his body weight for sets of 20. Oh my God. My quads burn just from listening to that shit.
What does he weigh?
135. Oh my God. 135. What the fuck? Okay, dude, if you want to get strong, we got to stop doing sets of 20. Okay?
Like when herself in her profile picture on the internet, and then profile picture in 2012, if you can believe it. But I'm gonna pics.
Oh no, but if he's got huge quads, then the math checks out. He says it's just been what I've done since I was 14. Didn't know any difference. How old are you now? Original name. Okay, I'm about to lay some fucking knowledge on you today. Okay, so listen. Once you go past the 5 repetitions per set mark, you are not in strength territory. Okay, you are if 225 for 20. As a matter of fact, I can't. God damn it! I'm gonna actually pull out my fucking iPad. I'm gonna pull out my iPad for this guy. You're 23, so you've been doing this for 9 years. Okay, dude, I am so excited because you are strong as fuck. Oh my God, you are so strong. It's insane. Okay, dude, I'm about to put in the amount of weight that you do, right? And I'm going to put it in for 20 repetitions, okay? Okay, and we're going to calculate your 1 rep max, okay? If you're doing a set of 20 at 225, which if you've been doing this for a long time, you're probably way above that. You could probably do a set of 20 at 235, 240, 245, depending on how long you've been doing this, okay? Your 1 RM is 375 at 135 pounds body weight. Good God almighty, this motherfucker is strong. Okay? Now, again, if you want to get big, 20 repetitions is not bad, but if you wanted to get bigger, you could probably get larger more efficiently if you capped it at, let's say, 10, 12, or 15 rep sets. Okay? So what you want to do is and this is why 1RM calculators are so cool, because if the 1 rep maximum scares you, as original name just said, right? Yeah, he's got some farmer strength, Voss. That's what farmer strength is. Now, you don't have to go to 375. What you can do is that you can cut your repetitions in half. Because right now, and this is assuming that 225 is all you can do. And if you've been doing it for a long time, I suspect you're strong in this, but this is just assuming that the max you can do is 20 at 225. Your 10 rep maximum would be about 280, 285, somewhere in that range, right? So you can go and fuck around and find out. You can do 8 at 300 pounds. You can do 285 for 9. I want to say 285 for 9 or 10. Or you can go at 265 for 12 repetitions, and then like get your body used to that level of stress, because you notice that if you go a bit heavier and you can get to 10, 11, 12, then you can still continue to do the math and say, well, I don't have to go to my 5 rep maximum, but I need to work towards that so that my body will um, accept the fact that I'm taking on this added neurological and axial fatigue, right? So you don't have to go to 375 for 1, right? Because I know that you fear that your patellas are gonna like pop off your kneecaps and then break a window somewhere or hit someone in the head and cause some sort of horrible injury, right? But there's so much. You're doing 10 reps at 225. You're doing 20 reps at 225. There's so much area for you to play with. So much area for you to play with. Dude, if I was that strong, oh my God. Good God. Oh my God. Yeah, so your
That strong, I'd
testosterone
be accusing him of
must be like
doing
nearing
steroids.
1,000.
But I already do that. I already.
Like, dude, I just did 4 sets of 8 at 225, and I was huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf. This dude just did like just 20 in 1 set. Goodness gracious, good God Almighty. Yeah, so there's a lot of room for you to play. If you're really scared of hitting the higher weights, I would probably go to 275 because it's just 50 pounds. I would bang that out for 10 reps. Now, obviously, you could probably do 10 pounds more than that, but I really do think that you would feel really nice and comfy with the stress. Now, I don't have. Oh my God! Because I leave them in the gym. All right. So, question for original name: do you use knee sleeves or a weight belt? That's what I want to know. Do you use knee sleeves, a weight belt, or both, or neither? He said, all right, so we're doing way less reps, 8 to 12, going to 265 and stick there and just play around with what I feel comfortable with. Last time I did a max rep was when I was 15 for 315. God damn it. He says, no sleeve, no belt, I'm broke. Nah, you are very well put together, physically anyway. I would, so they have cheap weight belts. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a weight belt, but I do recommend buying SBD knee sleeves. I swear by them. SBD knee sleeves make me feel very, very comfortable when I don't feel so comfortable with my squats. So that would be my yeah. If you don't want to like invest a lot of money in it, but you want to test the deeper waters, he said he's done 1 for 315, then you're going to be just fine at 275, 265. You're going to be just fine. And I don't want you to necessarily stick there. I want you to have a fact-finding expedition where you go and you put on those 2 extra 10-pound plates on both sides, or just the 125 on both sides. Feel what it feels like. And it's also one of the things that I do is I collect information through the eccentric and the concentric phase of every repetition, because I have to kind of listen to my body. I could feel really great on rep 3 and then feel like I'm not going to get through rep 8. So I have to be very careful and make sure that I'm listening to my body. My body is telling me I can handle this today. Or sometimes what I have to do is when I warm up, my body is telling me there's way more in the tank than the program tells me that I need to do. And then I will listen to how my body feels during the warm up to then determine whether I'm going to add extra reps that day, do less reps that day, or raise the weight. So original name is a fucking G, yo. That's crazy. 225 for 20. That's really, really crazy fucking territory.
Trust but
Yeah,
verify.
I need to see a video of that shit. I need you to go. I need I need
Video
I
can be
need you
deep
to
fake,
go
man. I don't.
to the Talking Shit podcast, which is linked in the description. All right. I need you to go to the Talking Shit podcast. The link is in the description. Go to any video, go to our Discord and post a video of you hitting that for like for oh my god, that's fucking insane. I need to see that. But I also want to see your movement patterns just to make sure that the way that you're moving doesn't basically put you in a bad position where you're looking at injuring the long term. So I definitely want to see what your movement patterns look like. He says, let me go buy some more C4. Oh, no. Oh, he's on C4. I was just talking about C4.
What the hell is C4?
Vasa says, nutrition question, since I see Doc is in the fitness groove. C4 is like one of those ridiculous pre-workout drinks that you can get either in a powder form or you can get it in the RTD form. They sell it in gyms. But Jack 3D used to cause people to have like arrhythmias. And the old version of C4 used to fuck people up too. Vasa says, nutrition question says, I see that Doc is in the fitness groove. I'm always in the fitness groove. This is what I do for a living. It happened to me between around the age of 25 that I started to gain body fat more easily and everything is stored in my belly. So I tried cutting junk food, but I find myself extremely hungry during the day, even when I eat some good protein and fats. I want to be strong as original name. When I grow up, he is actually younger than me. Okay. So here's the deal. I would need to know what your relationship with alcoholic beverages are, because you might be getting rid of the junk food, but the way that beer in particular, the molecules, the alcohol, the way that the molecules of alcohol are shaped, they're like a very efficient puzzle piece for the fat stores that line the belly. So when you're talking about beer, beer is a derivative of a lot of like vegetables and like wheats and stuff like that. So really what alcohols are bastardized sugars. The yeast that is used to make the alcohol consumes the sugar, and the waste product is the piece of the sugar that the bacterium does not need to propagate itself. So you're only getting a piece of that sugar molecule, and the way that it is shaped, it goes right to the lower belly, especially if you're talking about like beer. So if you drink a lot of alcohol, it's going to be very difficult for you to kill the body fat, because it is like you're getting the same type of a body fat storage as if you ate like a lot of rice, bread, and pasta, except that for every gram of alcohol you consume, you're getting 7 kilocalories instead of the customary 4. So it's more energy dense, so that when your body stores it, you're going to weigh more. He says, my relationship with alcohol is somewhat conservative. I sit down with my buddies every 45 days or so, and we have 3 or 4 beers. Outside of that, no beers. I do drink Also some wine with the misses, but not a lot. A glass once every 2 weeks. 3 to 4 beers, 45 days a lot, or my body extremely sensitive. Well, remember what the materials that beer and wine are made out of. Is made of, grain sugars, and the wine is made out of fruit sugars. So if you have a lot of fruit in your diet and you have a lot of grains, be it, breads, if you have, especially if you have like a lot of processed bread, and like the white bread that, they suck all of the nutrients out of it so that the texture is more palatable to you. If you love, pasta and bread and rice, and you eat them in high quantities, then that also could be an issue for you. And then I got to look at, what kind of portions are you eating? How quickly are you eating? And do you chew your goddamn food? These are
I feel
all
attacked.
there's so many different factors in
Oh,
how
I
your
got it.
body decides
Do you feel better for attacking me on
the way
video?
your
Huh?
body either decides to process the food,
Do you feel good about
whether your
yourself?
body processes the food or chooses to store it as fat.
What's wrong with? What if I
Oh
want to
my
maintain my
god.
teeth? I want to get old and I don't want to have
Um
cavities.
uh Original name said my dad got diabetes from just pasta. Yeah, my dad died from complications of diabetes. And my dad talked a lot about how much pain he was in the last, I want to say, 5 to 7 years of his life. And he was on his way to amputations as well. So that's the only thing that, like, I really have some sort of consolation about, is the fact that he's not in that pain anymore, but his blood sugar was in the 500s, a couple of months before he died. So his blood sugar was stupid high. Um, Vasa says, my biggest struggle is canceling out the bread, sweets, candies, and McDonald's. Oh my God, garbage and fancy packaging stuff is easy. I can live without that, but man, hot bread in the morning with some eggs and bacon is amazing. I love eggs and bacon. I love it. I just don't love bread. But yeah, yeah. So I mean, if you cut your bread intake in half, but also again, there's the first law of thermodynamics, right? And that is calories in, calories out. So, do you understand how many calories you're actually taking in? Are you eating enough times per day so that your body doesn't go into famine protection mode, and then you end up eating much larger portions than you intend to, right? So there's so much that you can do to kind of make small little tweaks that are livable, that could make a big difference. Sometimes you get these guys that only want to eat in certain windows and they only want to eat 1 or 2 meals a day. No, you're putting fat on your body. Um, Original name said, nah, my dad got 300 pounds off of just pasta and bread. God damn. He said, man, I'm really sorry to hear that, man. Luckily, my father just stopped one day and started losing weight instantly. I hope for the best for his health. Really sorry about your loss. Yeah, keep him moving, man. Keep him moving. Keep him motivated, and bring him to the gym. You're out there doing 20 sets of 20 at 225. You need to have him with you, because that's insane. He said, just so I can be clear, bread is problematic for me. Sweets, candies, and other junk food is easy. Okay, yeah. But the thing is, if you, especially if you are not eating the whole grains, because um, the whole grains take your body longer to process the micronutrients, also to process the energy that comes from it. So it takes longer, and it actually takes more caloric cost, more burn, to actually extract the nutrients and the energy from it. If you're eating a lot of white bread, your body doesn't have to do any real work to extract the energy from it. So it's really, really fast. And then you're hungry, right after that. So you're going to be tempted to either have really large portions, or you're going to be like, well, fuck it, I'm hungry again. Let me eat again. Let me eat again. Let me eat again. And before you know it, you don't really understand why you're putting on all this weight. But the way you're putting it on, there's 75 calories there, 125 calories there, 300 calories in a gulp if you're drinking fruit juices. So, you know, like, people don't really understand how much they're taking in. They don't really know. And then it hits them like, damn, this is how many calories I'm eating. And then like that little 20-minute walk you did 6 months ago doesn't account for shit. Original name says, man, he was my coach. He is who taught me. It'll be a weird shift trying to get him to go and switch the roles. Yeah, again, if you want to have humongous fucking quads, keep doing what you're doing. Right, I would probably go up to 235 and get to 20, and work your way to 20. But you're asking me about strength training.
Okay, for as a complete dumbass. Sorry,
20. If you're doing sets of 20, you're not really getting strong anymore.
As a complete dumbass, what's the difference between doing 15 reps at a lower weight versus doing 1 to 4 reps at a higher rate?
So the way that the way that the amount of you're doing much more work when you lift at a lower weight. So the amount of energy that your muscle cells need to pack into it is going to be higher. So like, remember, so if you guys go back to some of my live streams from like 2 weeks ago, or actually more like a week ago, 1 to 2 weeks ago, and you'll see it right in the title. Hypertrophy is way more painful than max strength, because the amount of time that you are putting the muscles under stress is so much shorter when you're just going for the high number. So if I'm lifting at my 5 rep maximum, the set lasts a maximum of 20 seconds. When you are lifting at a percentage of that, a high percentage of that, for more repetitions, your sets are lasting between 40 and 80 seconds. So how do I say this? How your body generates and burns energy is going to be a little bit different when you're doing hypertrophy than when you're doing maximum strength. So you're starting to, like, when you are only doing work for 20 seconds, you're using an anaerobic cycle of energy production and usage. You don't need oxygen for 20 seconds of work. But when you start getting to 40, a minute and a half, now we're starting to get into that territory where, like, you need to use oxygen. You're going to consume a lot of oxygen, but you're not going to consume oxygen the way a marathoner would, which would require smaller muscles. So your body would have to pack in more energy to do that crazy amount of work in that extended amount of time. And then your body also would need to create more and larger muscle fibers to deal with the stress of the work that you're putting it through. So that's why his quads are so big, Lewis. But if he switched to strength training, his quads would not really be all that big. But what it would do for him is it would raise his strength ceiling so that his 20 rep maximum would then be higher than 225. If he started pushing, sets of 3 at 315, 335, and then like keep pushing it, and then like his 5 rep maximum ends up being 315. His 3 rep maximum ends up being 335. Then he keeps pushing that up. then the amount that he can do for 20 reps also goes up. So the way that your body responds to the work is really a function of how close to your 1RM are you when you're doing that work, and how long does the set take for you to get through it.
Okay, I learned something.
Original says, he says, dude, that's my exact problem squatting is breathing. Yeah, you got to breathe. He says, my schedule is really dense. I don't find the time to hit the gym that much. Well, that means that you're taking in more calories than you burn, so you're going to hold on to fat. Also, if you were tight on time, can you live on pull-ups and push-ups? I tried deadlifts, but my future brother-in-law told me there is no way to do those right away, that I need preparation. That's a falsehood. Are you going to deadlift 400 pounds right off the bat? No, but you do need the practice. You're not going to get a nice deadlift by doing push-ups and pull-ups. That doesn't even make any sense, right? So you need to slowly ease yourself into learning the hip hinge motion, and then you kind of advance it. Even if you can only do it once a week, you make sure you do it every single week with no bullshit, right? And let me also tell you this too, right? I'm going to challenge you to call yourself out on your own bullshit. I always hear, I don't have the time. But if I did a consultation with you one-on-one, we would find out that you actually do have the time.
You have time to
You would
tune into
find
the
out
stream on
that there
a
are
Sunday
times that,
afternoon.
if you really wanted to do it, you would get it done. I didn't say that. All right? That didn't come out of my mouth. So if I did a consultation with you, you'd be like, you know what? Maybe I am bullshitting. But yeah, I would probably start with push-ups and pull-ups, because it gets your bro confidence going. It kind of gets your male ego going, where you start to feel better about yourself, and you start to see you get a little bit of a chest pump. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of feel your lats a little bit, your biceps kind of get some blood in it, right? And it kind of gets you feeling good about yourself, so that like you'll want to keep doing it and staying on target with your training, right? So yeah, I would probably start with the exercises that make you feel the most confident in yourself. Start there, and then work your way more into the stuff that you need on the schedule that you develop, by making sure that you stay with it. You can't do push-ups for 3 days
Oof.
and then come back, 6 weeks later and be like, oh yeah, let me try these push-ups again. You got to stick with it. You got to stick with it, right? So yeah, that would be one of my. I would definitely recommend that. What else? What else we got here in the comments here? A big thing, honestly, why I don't increase the weight is because I feel like a douche in a gym. If people don't like the fact that you're out there getting gains, they can fuck off. They can fuck right off.
The only time you're being a
You're
douchebag
supposed
in
to
the
hold
gym.
yourself back. And then when you're not, and then hold on, Lewis. Hello? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just muted myself so you could.
Lewis, you there?
Yeah, sorry. The delay makes it hard for me to tell when you finish your sentence.
Oh, okay, what's that? Dude, you can't hold yourself back in life from what you want to accomplish because somebody else might feel bad about themselves. Have you thought that when you go up in weight and you you might be inspiring somebody to actually work harder? I get plenty of inspiration from guys that are way stronger than me in the gym, or that can do more reps than me, or have bigger legs than me, or have a bigger chest that I have. right? Like a lot of guys that get inspiration from you would never actually admit it. They will never actually say anything to you. So you're holding yourself back so you don't make somebody else feel bad when you might actually be taking away somebody's inspiration for the day. Have you thought about that? Traditionalist is here. He
Only
says, I
two
see
things that
some
you could do,
audio
Jim.
panels. Is that Lewis?
There's two things that you could do at the gym that you should feel bad about. A, videotaping yourself and other people, and then going on social media saying, "Wow, look at people, look at me." And B, like other than good, don't worry about it.
When you said that you have enough time to watch a stream on a Sunday, Traditionalist said, but I need my lazy time at least 40 hours a week, bro.
Yeah.
So Vasa piano covers. Let me explain something to you. The reason why your back hurts in a deadlift is because you neurologically and conceptually do not understand the movement. The movement itself is not inherently injurious or painful to your lower back. I've been teaching the deadlift for over a decade. Lewis, take these guys back to the very first day I met you. What were you doing, Lewis? The very first day I met you.
Stop trying to pick up the bar. You've been saying for a long time, stop picking up the bar.
What were you doing the very first time I thought you were a Mexican day laborer? No, he was deadlifting with his lower back.
Very, very
That was the
bad
first thing I saw you do before I ever said anything to you. And I almost did not offer my services because I thought that, because I thought you were a Mexican day laborer that didn't speak English.
I don't dress up for the gym for other people to pay
So
attention to me.
when I started working with Lewis, yeah, I get that. But you also look like you were, asking if you can jump on the back of a MAGA truck, to go to somebody's house to do their landscaping. Okay, so, so when I met you, I believe you were fucking up your lower back trying to deadlift 205 pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere.
Now, what was the heaviest deadlift that you actually got up to after the torn quad? Like how
365
what was the
straight
heaviest
bar
deadlift that you were able to get up to after the torn quad?
for a 1 rep max.
It's not a cheating bar.
What the bar
you know
that
why
makes
it's
it
not a
easier
cheating
to
bar?
do more. What?
You know why it's not a cheating bar?
Why?
So it's mechanically easier. But the way that I had you use the bar made it where it wasn't cheating. Now, when most people use the trap bar to deadlift, they use the handles that point upwards so that they reduce their range of motion. But when I gave you the trap bar, I turned the upward handles down toward the ground so that the handles would be in the same at the same height as the barbell would be, so that the range of motion would remain the same.
I don't feel like I'm going to tip over as much, or I don't feel like I have
That's
to
why you
balance
weren't
myself
cheating.
as much, which is what makes it feel easier.
Right, because the weight is more, so the weight is more in line with the muscle group that's being worked. When you do a conventional deadlift, the reason why it's harder is that it's mechanically disadvantageous because the muscle that you're working is on the back side of your body and the weight is on the front side of your body. So it is one of the more difficult to do lifts mechanically, not necessarily weight wise, which is why piano covers struggles with the lift. So if I were to work with him and I can teach him the finer points of what the lift is supposed to be, he would no longer have any back pain.
And don't pick up the
All
bar.
right, let's
Can
look
you
at some
explain
more
when you say don't
comments.
pick up the bar? Because like
Your PR was 10 pull-ups, no bullshit, form is slow. I love the slow reps. I like that.
because
Okay.
when like because
They may think what?
it's like why am I not supposed to pick up the bar? I want the bar to go up from the. There's probably somebody out there for whom because it's like, well, don't pick up the bar
Right.
mean?
That dude, you actually answered part of your own question. So the thing is, your brain is very goal oriented naturally. Yeah, your brain is very goal oriented naturally. Okay. Now, how do I put this? Your body does not care about the process. So your body is a system of individual muscles that work with each other in different ways to act on the skeleton in different ways at the joints. So some muscles, I say, if we were doing a deadlift, we know that we need to stand up with it. So that means that you need to go from bent knees and a bent hip to an extended knee and an extended hip. Now, there are muscles that are tasked with doing those things better and more efficiently than other muscles. But the way that your brain understands movement is not dependent on what is supposed to do the job. Your brain only cares that the job gets done. So if your brain, because your brain uses a lot of energy to make decisions. So if you have to constantly pay attention to every single thing that you're doing all the time, your brain you'll just lose a lot of energy very quickly. Like between 20 and 25% of all of the calories that you burn all day is used by your brain. So it actually costs to pay attention. If you have to pay attention to every single thing that you're doing, you're going to actually get tired quicker. So your brain wants to automate everything. It wants to delegate something else. It doesn't want to think about what you're doing it, why you're doing it, or how you're doing it, only that it sees what the object is and you move the object. So when you go to grab the bar in the deadlift, your brain reads it as the bar needs to go from on the ground to standing up. Well, when most people stand up, what do they move first? Their rib cage. They everybody reads their environment through their eyes. So if you want to pick something up, your eyes are going to go up. What ends up happening? Your neck moves this way, your rib cage moves this way, and when that happens, where does the weight go? Where do you feel the tension and the stress? Right on your lower back. When you kind of puff your rib cage out like this, right? Your abs are stretched out, so your abs cannot support your spine anymore. So your abs cannot protect the integrity of your spine anymore because it's in a stretch position. And in the stretch position, it can't contract to provide stability to your spine on the front side. So you're stretched on the ab side, you're squeezed on the lower back side. That's why your lower back hurts. And of course, if the weight is going to your lower back, then it is pretty likely that your quads are going to work to extend at the knee joint. So you're not actually using the muscles that are intended to be used in the hip hinge. So if I remember that one guy that you paid for him to train with me, and he was supposed to do like all of like the sending all of the the people's laptops back to them and all of that. He was supposed to do like the mail and all of that. Do you remember that, Lewis?
Yeah. Like the supposed to was the key word there.
Lewis, where are you?
in the middle of YouTube delay.
Okay.
You'll hear me eventually in the future.
Right. Now, how well would your business have run? Oh, no. Oh, no. How long would your business take to fail if the guy that is supposed to do the mail is the one that you're relying on to doing the board repair? How well would your business be running?
I would be out of business within 3 days.
That is what happens when you pick up a bar off the floor with your lower back. Your lower back, the muscles in your lower back, the scientific terminology is spinal erectors. The job that the spinal erectors are supposed to do is in the name. It's supposed to keep the spine erect, not to pick up heavy shit off the ground. Ayo, pause. Right? So if you're using the wrong muscles to overcome the resistance, then you're going to have a lot of pain and problems, and you're going to be like, I don't know why this isn't working. Your brain does not care how you do anything. It only cares that it gets done. And that's why you're having the pain. So when you go to pick up the bar, you're really not using the muscles that are intended. So when I go to deadlift, I'm looking to feel what my hamstrings or glutes are feeling. I want them to feel the tension. And then I want to use my hamstrings and glutes to open up my hip, stretch out my hip flexors, because if I open up my hip, I will naturally be standing up straight. I don't have to try to stand up straight if I just simply use my glutes to stretch my hip and push my dick forward. Pause.
Big pause.
So there is a mechanical way to approach the deadlift which won't destroy your upper back. Lewis, leave the stream and come back and see if that solves the issue with the back and forth.
Let's
So
wait
I
till you
hope
finish,
that
but I gotta get going
long-winded.
So.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
We'll talk.
to you later,
we'll do more streams like this. I hope in the future.
We'll do.
But thank
Pleasure
you
to everybody in
for
the audience.
linking
Enjoy your
people
weekend.
to my channel. I appreciate it,
Anytime,
man.
sir.
Thanks so
Anytime.
much for coming by, man. See you later.
See you.
Yeah, it's definitely very. He's still talking. He's been gone. Yeah, it's definitely delayed, y'all. Hopefully, I'm not delayed for you guys. But let me go through a couple more of these comments here. He says, "Oh no, I'm not avoiding accountability. I'm aware that there are lots of areas I'm being lazy at." Good. Yeah, I like the fact that you do slow pull-ups. But get back to it. Get back to feeling good about yourself, and you will you get back to feeling good about yourself, and it'll be easier for you to find excuses to get the work done instead of finding reasons why your schedule precludes you from it. He's a yeah. He said, "Oh yeah, don't pick up that bar. Legs. Yeah, man. Yeah." Mason DeMaio is here. Oh shit, what's good, man? It's good to see you. Lewis audio not getting through on stream properly, cutting out frequently. Yeah, people have been complaining about that the whole thing. Bro, you speak so eloquently, and then the real New Yorker comes out with "Ayo, Paul." Yo, like I'm from Harlem, yo. I'm from Harlem. Vasa says, seems like buying the home weight and doing an online session with Dr. Evil is actually cheaper than to go to an overcrowded gym. How much do you charge per session, or is that a question for email? And traditionalist says, have a good Sunday, Lewis. Maybe talk to you later. Okay, yeah. So I live in New York, so I charge New York prices for training, but I have no problem consulting with you. So I know that this is going to sound kind of like convoluted, but it's very difficult for me to connect with people offline, just strictly off of YouTube. So my recommendation for you is to look at the link that's in the description of this live stream. Click on TSP. Click on any video that's on the podcast, because I want you to look at the description. The description for our Discord is in there. So you join our Discord, and after you join our Discord, you should be able to find, seek me out, and then you can send me a DM on Discord, and I can talk to you about what you can do. Because the thing is, you don't need a whole lot of equipment right off the bat. But when you actually start to get addicted to the process, you're going to need a real gym. So one of the things that I can help you do is find a gym that will be giving you real bang for the buck. Great machines, doesn't cost a whole lot of money. And then, you're spending, $40 to $60 a month on the gym. And then the only thing you have to do is, do the FaceTime with me and then carry me around the gym while I give you the instruction. You know what I mean? So, or you could just follow the link that my mod in here, seditionalist, put in there. You can follow that too, right? So I don't, I have no problem helping people. I love helping people. And I'm just glad that what I do for a living actually helps people. That's really important to me. So it says, yeah, I have no problem with paying even New York prices from Europe from time to time. I'm aware that you are probably even more expensive for us overseas people, but good education has a price. Yeah. Yeah. So the Discord link is there. We could definitely have is this guy spinning his tire? Is he stuck? Holy crap. This snow is crazy. How is he? You know what he has? I think he's got a rear wheel drive vehicle. I was scared too. This guy is trying to merge with traffic, and his back tires are spinning, and his front tires are doing nothing. Oh my God. That is scary. Oh my God. That is scary. Will he get out of there? Would he get out of there? He is still spinning his tires. Go, 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 go. Punch it, punch it, punch it. Oh, he got out. Oh man. I just watched this guy spin his tires, and it looks like he has European plates. Are you serious? I think he's got international. He's got a European plate on the front and a Florida plate on the back. That's probably why his tires suck. He has those summer tires. Yeah, that was distracting. Sorry, guys. In LA, if we had some snow here, everyone would die within a day. Yeah, I've noticed that. Same thing in Texas too. It's 11:30 in the evening, so I'm gonna go and read some Lord of the Rings. Mrs. got me for my birthday. Nice. And get some sleep. All right, yo. Yeah, he's got EU plates on the front and Florida plates on the back. That's crazy. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting the stream. And I just wanted to thank Lewis for mentioning me, because he didn't have to mention me in the community tab. I know that some of you guys, probably came from that. And, like I said, I try to do these streams to either educate and or motivate. And so it really is an honor to have people come through here and just kind of see what I go through to try to, be stronger or bigger or whatever my goals are. But thank you, Lewis, for coming by. That was like fucking cool. This was like really fucking fun. which is why I'm still sitting here in my car when I could have like gotten off the stream like an hour ago. You know, you guys made it worth it for sticking around. But yeah, I'm going to be back here on Tuesday. It's going to be a deload week. So I'm not going to have any struggles. It's going to be a really quick workout. I'm going to be like living large because I'm going to be working at half capacity while I allow my quads to fully recover so I can then tear them down again. But anyway, thank you all so much for hitting the like button, for supporting Lewis, for supporting myself, what I'm trying to do here. I will try to stream video games on this channel again. I don't know when that's going to happen because I haven't touched my Xbox or PS5 in about a year and a half. But I'm going to do everything that I can to bring entertaining and or informative and or motivational material to you guys. And until next time, I'm out. It's time to eat food. We'll talk to you later. Signing off. Peace.